Hey guys, this is just a quick silver squeeze video update. I wanted to share with you some of the information, some of the things that I'm hearing from some insiders, and also give you some of my price targets for silver. As I'm sure you're all aware, there's been huge demand for silver, both in the physical form, the ETFs, and also the miners as well. Dealers are struggling for supply. There really is a supply squeeze happening, guys. It is real. We can see a whole bunch of different dealers that are struggling with volume. Here in Australia, just yesterday, my phone was ringing off the hook with people asking me about how to buy silver, how to set up an account with the Perth Mint. The feedback I've been getting from everyone is that the Perth Mint said it's going to take several weeks for accounts to be set up and validated. This is I've never seen anything like this, and I've been investing in the precious metals market since 2008. I think I've mentioned before in previous videos where I put in just under $50,000 in silver back in 2008, 2009, wrote it up from about $11, wrote it up to in the 40s. I didn't sell out right at $49, and I sold in tranches. As soon as it got into the 40s, I sold in tranches. But I pretty much took almost $50,000 and with the US property market back then, as it tanked in 2011, 2012, I went over to the US. I'm an Australian, went over to the US, looked at some properties. It just happened to be that our dollar was at $1.04 at the time, so it was above parity. And I transferred those funds over to my Wells Fargo account, and I went and bought 6 investment properties for cash. At the time, I bought those in Atlanta and Memphis, and I just recently sold my last Atlanta property that closed about 2 weeks ago. I still have a couple of Memphis properties which I probably won't sell. They're little cash cows. But I've done this silver play before, and I've been loading up on silver in particular, but also gold over the last 18 months. And back in March, when the gold silver ratio went above 120, meaning 120 ounces for 1 ounce of 120 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold, I literally went all in on silver, all in, 100%. I stopped buying any other asset. To me, silver was the most undervalued asset class in the world, full stop. And so I just went 100% in. And I loaded up on physical, and then after that I started loading up on miners and explorers, and so that's been really good. So there is a supply. So I've been in this game for a while. I've never seen the demand and the frenzy, and we know that supply. And look, I've shared that I've been bullish on silver from the fundamental point of view. Knowing that we're moving to this green energy space, electric vehicles, solar panels. Now we've got a Biden president. He's jumped back into the Paris Agreement. I'm not going to say whether that's a good thing or a bad thing on this video. And so the electrification of the economy is happening whether we like it or not. And so the demand for silver as a commodity in an industrial sense is just heading up from here on out. But we know that supply peaked, mining supply peaked in 2016, and that goes down forever. And I've mentioned in our last video that miners are telling me that the mining rate is around 8 to 1 now, meaning that for every 1 ounce of gold they mine, they're finding 8 ounces of silver. So that gold silver ratio, which historically has probably averaged around 15 to 1, currently It's around 63, 64. But it got up to 120 back in March of last year. So I've never seen anything quite like this, and it's quite crazy. What we're seeing here is the iShares Silver Trust, and look at the volume. The volume, this was yesterday, the volume versus the average volume here. That's 860% higher. The Sprott Physical Silver Trust, once again, the volume for this is 22 times what its normal average is. This is the demand for this, and the word is that the Wall Street Bet Reddit crew aren't really pushing this. They're not the ones jumping into this, and I'm hearing from some insiders that there's some big players, and the rumor is that JP Morgan is the one that's in here pushing this, because apparently they have winded down all their short positions on silver. In the same time, over the last decade, they have been accumulating silver to where I believe they're close to the largest holders of physical silver at the moment. So they've now got a vested interest for the price of silver to skyrocket. And so there are some rumors around that. I'm hearing things. Obviously, I can't validate those things, but it does not surprise me whatsoever. And with all that, we're getting individual investors and traders into the market. So we did touch just over $30 on the silver price. It has fallen back into the 28 region, which once again doesn't surprise me. I did expect that to happen. However, I expect it to jump back up to 30 within the next couple of days. And what I'd like to see then is that become a floor in the price. Looking at the gold silver ratio, as I said, it's around that 63, 64 mark. I do have some targets on this. Obviously, if we get to the true fundamentals, we're looking more at around an 8-to-1 ratio, or even the historic average of 15 to 1 would be nice to get to. And that means silver has a lot more upward movement to go. But in terms of my price targets that I'm looking for, so when I go back to 2011, I'm looking at that gold silver ratio at around 30. So where we're at about 63, 64 at the moment. I see silver, my first target, obviously we need to break the break 30, let that become a floor on the price. The next target is obviously breaking the all-time high, all right, which is just under $50. So breaking the all-time high, but ultimately I see, and my target is for the silver price to be double where it is now. So I expect it to be pushing that $60 mark. At the start of the year, my target was for that by the end of 2021, just based on all the fundamentals. And I believe we're going into a secular stagflation environment over the next several years, and that is obviously going to be bullish for both the precious metals, but silver will obviously rocket a lot more than gold will. So my target is for a gold-silver ratio, and this is probably going to happen sooner with all the demand. I'm hearing a few other things, but I won't report them on this video today until I get some more concrete, evidence on what I'm hearing. But if true, it is absolutely lights out for silver. This thing is going to break like nothing we've ever seen before. However, I will wait until I've got some more evidence on that before I share that. So my price target, obviously 30, that become a floor in the price. Then we need to break the all-time high, but I do expect the price of silver to be double where it is now, and probably in a fairly short period of time. So within the next few months, As I said, I did think it was going to be towards the end of the year, but I've definitely brought that forward with all the craziness that's going on, and with the demand and the supply issue that we're facing. This really could break out to anything, to something that we've never seen. I'm hearing some people talk about $100 to $300 silver, and these are people who have been in the industry a lot longer than me. Obviously, First Majestic, they're talking about $100, $200 silver as being the true value of silver. And if you go look at that 8-to-1 ratio, which is what's being mined, if you've got the price of silver at price of gold at 1850, well, even a 10-to-1 ratio means that silver should be $185. So even on its true mining ratio, what's happening, silver should be about $185. So I will not be surprised if over the next couple of years, the next 2 to 3 years, that silver does hit triple digits. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's somewhere around that $200 mark, somewhere between $100 and $300. It would not surprise me whatsoever. What would surprise me is $1,000 silver, $5,000 silver. Obviously, they are possibilities, but the probabilities, the probability of it being $100 to $300 is a lot higher for mine than $1,000 or a $5,000 price in silver. If, however, the monetary system, if this does break the market and we see bullion banks going under, and there's a big chance that could happen, I suspect regulators will come in and try to do something before then and change the rules. However, if there is a monetary reset, and I recommend people read Jim Rickard's A New Case for Gold, because a lot of people don't understand, I guess, the history of money and how to go back to something like a gold standard or a silver standard or a bimetallic standard. But it's the price that needs to be revalued. And so what you do is you take the amount of dollars outstanding versus the amount of gold or silver outstanding, and you just that's where you work out the price. That way you avoid a deflationary or an inflationary depression. And so in that case, silver could be revalued to $1,000, $4,000, $5,000. And obviously gold would be much higher. Now, some people saying with the amount of new currency units that are being created in 2020 that the price of gold only a year or two ago would have needed to be revalued at around $10,000. Now some are saying it's more like $30,000 plus. And so obviously you want to hold some precious metals for that scenario to be played out. Now, what's the likelihood? Well, governments won't willy-nilly change to a gold silver standard. They'll be forced to. But you go through history, and every time fiat currencies have collapsed, we've always gone back to a gold or silver standard of some sort. So I definitely want to hold some, as an insurance for that particular play. But there is going to be a price point where I look at starting to sell and convert my precious metals into other assets, just like what I did in that 2008 to 2012 window. I'll be looking at doing something similar again here. And this whole silver squeeze is getting a lot of media coverage now. A lot of media coverage, and this is going to suck more and more people in, so that demand is going to just continue to grow. I'm also hearing rumors that some of the big users of silver on a commodity sense are and these are our telco, your Apples and your Samsungs and Fisher and Paykel, and all those that need silver for their products to make their products are now starting to worry about the supply issue, and so we're hearing that they might be ramping up their demand for silver as well. So here's a good little article from Jim Rickards about the history of money. I won't go through the article now, but I'll put a link in the description below, and you guys can check it out in your own time. What I would recommend is those that don't have an understanding of silver as the monetary history of silver, I recommend getting David Morgan's The Silver Manifesto book. When you actually have a look at gold and silver throughout history, silver has actually been money more times than not, more times than gold has. So silver is actually money. And for those who are Bible-believing Christians or my Jewish friends, silver was money from day get-go. So I recommend checking out the In Gold We Trust report. Comes out, Ronnie Stoffele does this each year if you're unfamiliar with it. This is a free report that you can download. So if you just Google In Gold We Trust report, get the 2020 extended version. And what was interesting last year in this, I'll just click here, and where is it? Gold and Silver, a Biblical Perspective. And Gold and Silver, Biblical Perspective. Let me just scroll down. We'll skip over the gold bit. Purpose of gold. The purpose of gold was a store of wealth, but silver is money. So in Genesis chapter 23, verse 16, Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the presence of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchants. The Hebrew word kasef has a dual meaning. It means both silver and money. Hebrew is not the only language in which the same word is used for both silver and money. In Greek, the language of the New Testament, the word aguros has the same double meaning. This also is the case in French, where the word argent, I think I've pronounced that right, means both silver and money. So, yeah, and you'll find in the Bible the word shekel, or shekel, sorry, is not a measurement of value, but a measure of weight. So, yeah, silver. Silver is money. Gold is a store of wealth. So my Jewish friends tell me that what they have been taught over the years is that back then silver would be used as money, and then when you accumulate a lot of silver, you'd then transfer that into gold and hold gold. Gold was a store of wealth and so forth. So look, it's exciting times for silver. More and more people are starting to become educated on silver. More and more people are starting to see what central banks are doing and starting to see this debt Ponzi scheme that we're having and going, not sure if I want to be involved in this and play in this. Maybe I should get a little bit of precious metals. Gold's a bit pricey. Maybe I can buy some silver that's pretty cheap, go buy some silver coins or whatnot. I still like the fundamentals of silver. I still think at these prices, silver is undervalued. So I'm still buying silver. I'm still buying silver miners, silver explorers. But there will come a time where I think silver is overvalued, especially when I measure it in other assets. So I always measure assets in gold and silver. That has been good for me, and I'll continue to do that. So when I see that silver and gold can buy me a lot of other assets, then I'll make that play and transfer across. But at the moment, I'm still loving silver. I'm still buying it at these prices. It is still cheap. We are still, only just over half its all-time high. So silver's got a lot more room to run. So if you haven't got into silver, not giving financial advice, but it's still not too late. Don't take that as financial advice though, so go see your own financial planner who probably knows nothing about silver and gold anyway, and have no idea how to buy it, but maybe they do, or maybe they just jump into an ETF and go, well, maybe you could get this. Anyway, what do you guys think? Love to see your opinions in the comments below. Thanks everyone for engaging in our last video. It was awesome to see all the different comments and the chatter going on. Everyone is really waking up. Everyone really is starting to understand silver, how it's been manipulated, how central banks are out of control at the moment and don't want to hold currency. I mean, this is why Bitcoin was created after the GFC. Just the BS from our governments and our central banks. And anyway, if you like this video, don't forget, hit the like button, a thumbs up. Really appreciate that. It helps the algorithms, apparently. I don't know. I'm not an expert. That's what I'm told. Otherwise, I'll see you again on another episode of Finance Uncut.